Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Black Waves. Yeah, I'm going to be your DMGM storyteller, whichever you would like to call me, Forgotten Dreams, and I am joined by a lovely host of individuals. As you can see, I've changed up the background and things like that. So now we have a little bit more of a personalized thing. We still don't have a map viewer, though, but we'll be getting that soon enough. I am joined today by three lovely people. Starting from directly above me, we have Cyber Mama.
Hi.
Then next to Cyber Mama, we have Ellen.
Are we just saying hi tonight?
I guess
hi.
so, yeah. After Ellen, we have Wade.
Hello, I am Wade.
Fantastic. Wade plays Desh, Ellen plays Senna. There's two S's, and I was thinking of which S it was. And then Cyber Mama plays Sasha. Fantastic. Sasha. Okay. So, we left off last time. I'm going to do a very brief recap. We left off last time after a major storm, and what might possibly be the beginning of a monsoon season, struck our lovely, lovely experiments while they were in town. Within Windgrove, the city was mostly destroyed by the crashing waves of massive heaps of water that poured in, as well as the odd demonic boat that crashed into the city and or the surrounding area around the city. And we last left off while everyone was dealing with either rescuing survivors or going up to the Citadel after finishing rescuing people and looking for a meeting with our Mage Lord. We left off with the impenetrable fog that constantly lays over the ocean, beginning to seep into the city and slowly overtaking the Citadel. So, hopping back in, as the camera comes in to both Desh and Senna standing in the hall of the upper level of the Citadel, watching as the thick, impenetrable wave of fog begins to pour down the hall, the camera actually zooms out and it goes away from the Citadel and goes above the city and watches as this fog keeps pushing more and more into the city before the camera zooms far off to the north. And eventually, through a blur of motion, eventually comes to rest on a dark road not too far from the ocean. The visuals of the sand from the beach can lightly be seen off to the left-hand corner of the screen, and there are several animals, carts, and the bodies of several dead gnolls litter the scene, as well as a prominent black mark on the ground where once a Dreadwalker stood. And it is on this scene that we pick up as the camera pans in onto the black mark in the mud and dirt, and it slowly lifts up to show 6 figures, all Dreadwalkers, all walking towards the black scorched mark. We watch as one of them steps up next to it, takes off his helmet, and places it down next to the black mark. And initially the camera focuses on the helmet hitting the dirt and resting there before finally it pans up over his armored greaves, over his plate mail, and eventually to an ashen, beautiful face. That of a male, more than likely, from the looks of it, in his mid-20s, with pale, almost sheer white skin, glistening white sharp teeth, a pointed nose, glowing red eyes that are more akin to that of a cat's than a human's, and long flowing platinum blonde hair that goes down to the midriff of his back. The other Dread Knights around him disperse amongst the scene, and begin slowly picking through what's left of the battle that you fought here. Until eventually, another one walks up next to the one with his helmet off. The one with the helmet still on is the first to speak. I smell magic. Whoever did this was powerful. And they went south from the smell of things. What should we do? Camera pans back to capture the two of them in their full grace, and then slowly begins to focus on the one who we can see the face of with his red eyes, particularly zooming in slowly to get more and more of a visual of just his eyes. We hunt them. But first, we'll need to establish our rule. It's almost time for the fog to lift. Camera zooms out from his eyes, and in the darkness behind them, coming from the forest, you hear the clanking of armor and the sound of bones as thousands of lost legionnaires begin to pour out of the forest behind them. Their banner, tattered, dirty, but waving high as they pour out onto the road and begin to take up formation. And the camera snaps to darkness. Of course, the title shows over it, Black Waves. And we come back in to the hallway where Desh and Cinna watch as the fog is overtaking them. What would you like to do?
Gosh. This doesn't seem good. I suppose I would make some effort to get away from the fog.
Okay. So in this upper hallway, what you essentially have is there are about 12 doors that line this hallway. The hallway itself is carpeted, but you know it's not actually like carpeted onto the foundation of the upstairs. There's actual stone underneath, and it's a thin layer of the carpet, then the stone, and then a bit of wood. And there is no window in this hall. And the only room that you've been in, or the only two rooms that you've been in, one was sort of a records office. The other was a proper study, but you're not sure what's in the other 10 rooms on this floor. But you would assume, seeing as you've only been going on the doors on the right side of the hall, and now currently as you face the fog that comes towards you on your left side are the only doors that you've gone through. So now the right side doors are the ones that you haven't gone through at this time.
Were there windows in the rooms that we were in before?
Not on the ones to your left at the moment. Those
Okay.
are all sort of the inner portions of the building.
I will assume that one of the rooms we've been in before is probably not locked. It doesn't seem like those were super secret rooms, so I will just run into the nearest one.
Okay. All right, so you run into the nearest one. You've got a choice. You can either go back into the office you just came out of, or if you were to go for the records room, that door is actually closer to the fog.
I would go to the one that's closer to me and farther from the fog. Farther from the fog.
Okay.
Further?
So you go back
Further from
into
the fog.
the study or the
Yeah.
office, as it were, and you can see it's rather nice in here, as I described before. It's got plenty of bookshelves that are lined from wall to wall. There's the nice oak table in the center with the beautiful leather chair. that sits empty at the moment. What would you like to do?
Desh, did you come with me?
Assume I did.
Okay. I don't think I would barricade the door against a fog, but close the door, back up, and wait to see what happens.
Okay.
Is there a carpet? Oh, I guess there's no drapes. Is there a carpet or something I can roll up and push up against the crack underneath the door?
There is a carpet in this room. It's much smaller than the one in the hallway. Excuse me, by the way, for the cough. But as you can see, it basically it extends a little bit past the oak table or oak desk in the room, but it actually goes under the desk and on the other side. So the oak desk and the chair that sits behind the desk are both on top of the rug. You'd have to move those out of the way.
Okay. Seeing as time is slim, I'll just close the door and back up as far as I can get. Watch the door.
Fantastic. Does Desh do anything?
Are there any windows in the room?
No. This seems to be an inner room of the Citadel, so it does not face outward.
Just for the moment, just listening in, see if I hear movement, struggles, anything out of the ordinary.
What you can hear so far, without any perception rolls, is you can hear the sound of several individuals downstairs. There's general sounds of confusion. There's plenty of moving about that you can hear coming from downstairs, but no signs of panic just yet. And as that all begins to sink in, you watch as the fog begins to pour into the lower crack of the door. Almost like a black smoke. It begins to fill the room.
Is it just coming from the crack under the door? Or is it coming from the sides and top?
It's only coming from underneath the door. The sides and the top of the door are pretty flush with the stone wall that surrounds them.
Then I suppose I will make an attempt to, well, you know what? I will take off my cloak and roll it up and shove it in the crack under the door.
Sure. Okay. You go ahead and do that, and it definitely slows the progress of it filling the room, but it doesn't completely stop it as you watch. For a moment, it seems like it does stop it entirely until eventually you start seeing through small bits of the seams within the cloak, it begins to pour through very slowly. Now, instead of a full-on black smoke pouring underneath a doorway, it looks more like a censer.
Okay, I tip the desk on its back so that the top of the desk is vertical and push it up against the door.
You go ahead and do so. Go ahead and give me a strength check.
Oh. Oh, that was
16,
pretty
not
good.
bad.
That was pretty good for
It's
me.
a heavy desk. It's fully made out of beautiful oak hardwood. And when you flip it over to begin moving it over towards the doorway, it gives a loud clang as it hits onto the stone flooring, only slightly protected by that small rug. And you definitely hear a bit of wood chip on the edge of the table as it slams onto the floor, and you begin pushing it over to the doorway. And you wedge it nicely in place. Do you just wait from that point on?
I don't know what else to do.
Fog just smell like water vapor, or
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Whatever it is, I don't like it.
Chloe?
Oh.
As Desh bends down to try and get a whiff of what fog has leaked into the room, it's kind of hanging very closely to the floors at this point as it's slowly building up and slowly getting higher. It's not going straight to the roof of this room in any way. You take a few whiffs, and that's when you kind of notice with your natural one, your nose is actually clogged up, and you didn't realize it until now, as your sinuses need to be cleared out.
I didn't mean to cast that spell. Ignore that. I was just
Okay.
my
So you did
character
not
sheet
cast
and-
protection from evil.
No, I was just trying to drag my character sheet sideways, and I clicked on it.
Fantastic. So,
Okay.
in that case, since you went ahead and clicked that, I can go ahead and change this theme over. Yeah, there we go. Oh. There we go. Got it. The next few minutes pass as the room you're in slowly and slowly begins to fill with this fog until it's about at your chest height, when finally you hear some commotion downstairs that sounds a little bit different. You can faintly hear the sound of the large double doors to the Citadel being opened. You can't really make out the voices very clearly up here at all. It all comes in as a muffled group of just different pitches between the males and females downstairs. And you hear the sound of several people coming into the Citadel itself.
Are
Meanwhile-
people like screaming
No,
or
no.
running? Okay.
It just sounds like there's heavy conversation downstairs.
Okay.
Meanwhile, on the outside of the Citadel, as tea, warm biscuits, muffins, whatever is available, bread, is being handed out at the silk shop, or I should say the silk farm. You have been watching as this fog has been pouring more and more into Windgrove proper, and eventually it slowly begins to reach where you all are before it eventually just stops, like an invisible wall butts up against it, as it gets right around the centralized park of Windgrove.
Can I try to figure out whether or not it's something bad or evil?
How would you like to go about trying to do that?
Well, I've got one in Arcana. Can I do an Arcana check? Or
yeah,
well,
I'll let you do an Arcana check, sure.
you know what? I will pull out my blade of lawful judgment, and I will swish it around near in the mist and see what happens.
Okay. You swish it around, it doesn't interact with the blade in any way.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do something very stupid. I'm
Are
going
you
to
gonna
talk
pray?
to it.
Oh.
No, I'm going to talk to it.
Okay.
Hey, listen, you. I don't know what you are, but I know you're not natural. And whatever you're doing, this is definitely not okay. Could you please back up all the way back to the docks?
No
Does it do anything?
response.
Can you hear me? Are you there?
You hear from the sort of nature-made barricade of debris behind you on one of the streets that leads over towards your silk farm. What are you doing? Hey, lady!
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I figure that this thing is. I think this thing is alive, and I'm trying to talk it into backing back up.
And you hear some whispered voices from behind you, and a few murmurs begin to pick up. And you notice as a small crowd begins to form by the debris as they look over. Essentially, a few tables, muddy chairs, pieces of building that have stacked up in this roadway. You see faces begin to poke over it, of all types and variants, as they all just stare at you, and you can hear occasionally, "Yeah, she's talking to Fog."
All right. Going for broke. Going to pray.
As your hands clap, it's almost as if the world responds. And there is a loud, thunderous clap that comes from far off in the ocean. You're not sure from where exactly, but it's definitely west. And you are immediately engulfed in fog. As it pushes past you, it fills the room in the Citadel entirely for a few moments, and you feel this enormous wind begin to push through the city. You are immediately caked in mud, and you can feel the slapping of debris against you, and you take 7 points of bludgeoning damage as several pieces of debris smack against you from the high-speed winds that begin to go through the city. The barricades behind you, you can hear the people behind you also being hit by debris. There's a loud crack of someone being hit upside the head and by a wooden table leg. And a few seconds it goes on before eventually everything is clear. And there's no more fog. There's no more fog anywhere. As you look over the horizon for the first time, and you can just see the waves of the ocean and thousands of ships burning off in the distance.
I'm still standing there, partially bloodied, with my hands together.
You've got a black eye. Your cheeks hurt like all hell. Your shoulder feels like it was slightly popped out of place.
Saren Ray, thank you. Blessed be.
And you notice, even though it's a few hours from night, the sky starts going black.
Boy. That doesn't look
Until
good.
eventually it's just darkness. No stars, no moon. It's just dark. The only thing to have any light source at this period of time are the ships alight far off in the distance, and a few lights from the towers of the Citadel. The fog clears out of the room that you all are sitting in the Citadel, by the way.
Joy. Well, the fog's all gone. Start unbarricading the door.
Okay.
Yeah, I will help. Yes.
All right. As you unbarricade the door, move everything out of the way, take your cloak back. Do you put it back on or just leave it?
I guess I just shake it off and put it back on.
Okay. You shake off your cloak, put it back on. It's a little damp. You open the doorway, and you notice it is pitch black in the hallway. The only light you have is from a single lantern that you carefully put to the side in the room that you were standing in, and there is a single lantern at the very end of the hall in the opposite direction of the stairs that gives off just enough light to illuminate the first 6 doors.
It's just as alarming as the fog. I was pretty sure the fog was like after us specifically. And now I'm pretty sure this darkness is after us specifically. I'll start heading downstairs.
Okay.
Keep pace.
Do both of you have dark vision?
have
I'm a
dark
half
vision.
elf, I do.
Fantastic. All right. Actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure you 3 all have dark vision, which is very good.
Mm-hmm.
As it helps you. You don't actually, with the dark vision that you have in the lighting that is available to you now, you don't see any color whatsoever. It's all just horribly dark grayscale. So you're seeing the outlines of things. With only when there's a light source do you get to see more detail as you normally would. But eventually you guys make your way downstairs, and there are more lanterns, and luckily a furnace also lit in the main hall downstairs as you come into it, where you can see several individuals, roughly about 50, have poured into the great hall, shivering cold. Many of them look like they were in the middle of eating. The double doors that lead into the citadel are wide open, and it's just pitch black outside, with only the light from a few of the towers away from the citadel itself showing that there's anything out there.
This seems a bit odd.
Mm-hmm.
And it begins to snow.
Okay. Also,
Why
super
does
You
he
bad.
still hear the sound
Normal's overrated.
of thunder.
Oh, great. Thunder snow.
At this point, I'm concerned about Sasha, and I will go look for her.
Okay. I'm assuming Desh just follows along this entire time. All right. Do you go and find Nash before you head out of the Citadel?
Nash is with me.
He couldn't get upstairs.
I left him at the bottom of the stairs, so...
Okay, so just making sure.
Just never assume that I abandoned Nash for any reason.
I just figured he was just outside the Citadel itself. That's all, like the main Citadel building. But yeah, that's fine. You go ahead. You grab Nash from downstairs, and the 3 of you head off into the darkness with no lights in the city to guide you, as you just slowly make your way through the debris-filled streets to try and get to the last place that you saw Sasha. Meanwhile, what's Sasha up to?
Sasha is lighting lanterns and making as much light as possible, continuing to get hot food and hot tea to everyone in her vicinity, blankets.
You've run out of blankets at this point.
Do I have anything inside the shop that would make things warm for people?
You could burn your machines for making silk, but that's probably not the best of business venture.
No. Um, is there? Well, I try to gather people around and for us to get a lot of the wood debris and try to put the wood debris in an area so that we can maybe create a pit with a fire so that we can get people warm since it's snowing now.
Okay. So you go ahead and start working on that. People are a little nervous around you because you were just talking to Fog. But they go ahead and they work with you to, as I had already stated before, they've already taken a large portion of much of the bigger chunks of wood debris that had been washed up this direction and made it into a makeshift floor over the muddy ground that was in front of your shop beforehand, in that large open plaza that was in front of your shop before. There's already a few tents and ramshackle wooden structures that roughly resemble a building but aren't fully a building, as there's like none of it's been made with nails at this point, so none of it's like sturdy construction at this point, as they've kind of begun the process already of trying to make a shantytown. But you watch as they clear out some of the flooring that they've made to leave open a pit, and you're left with a soggy, muddy mess of a patch of ground.
I ask around for anyone that has any magic that could light the fire so that we can get some warmth going.
I need to make a roll. Okay. Unfortunately, in the group of people that are with you now, no one is magically inclined.
It's a shame. Well, I'm sure I've got some flint, and I will try to build a fire.
Okay, you've got sopping wet, muddy ground. You've got sopping wet wood. And what's your plan for starting this fire?
Do I have any oil?
If you go into your shop, there's a bit of lantern oil. If you want to try and use that.
Yeah, I'll try to use some lantern oil and try to get a fire going.
All right, go ahead and make me a survival roll.
It's snowing now instead of raining. So, survival.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so you try desperately over the next half an hour to get a fire going, and you're only ever interrupted by the sounds of murmurs and the occasional loud, thunderous crack of lightning as purple streaks of light flash through the sky, briefly lighting up the world around you for maybe a fraction of a second before it all goes back to its natural dark lighting at this point.
Is there anyone trying to help me?
No.
So they're just standing around shivering?
No, they're in small groups. They're talking. They're trying to go ahead and make some of the structures that they've made a little bit more sturdy. They are breaking into some of the buildings nearby and getting items from there, and some people are even moving into those buildings and using that as temporary housing. And they're organizing, but their immediate concern doesn't look to be fire at the moment.
Or warmth.
Or warmth, yeah. And on the Fahrenheit scale, it's like 31 degrees, so it's just barely in the freezing zone.
But still pretty daggone cold.
Outside
Okay.
of the Aaron scale, yes, I assume you would say it was cold.
All right. I am going to see what is in my shop to see if there's any warmer clothing I can add to. Well, actually, I don't need any because I've got on the suit.
Yeah.
I've got on a temperature suit.
Mhm.
I crank up the heat a little bit on my temperature suit to try to keep myself warm, and then all this time, none of my employees have come back.
Nope.
Okay, well then I start just after I've handed out all the tea and the food I can, I just turn on some lights in my shop and start taking care of my shop.
Okay. You don't even really get a chance to do that as you approach the door to your shop, and that is when Cinna and Desh and a large lurking beast of darkness next to Desh, who you can assume is Nash, make their way over some of the muddied, broken apart barricades that are slowly being stripped down for resources.
Hey guys, I'm glad you're okay.
Glad you're okay too. That was crazy, huh?
Well, it's been a little beyond crazy, and I have felt pretty useless. I tried to get a fire going here in this pit that we created because it's so daggone cold to try to help people out with warmth, but
You
that
just
didn't work
watch as
very
a guy
well.
comes over with a torch and throws it into the oil that you put down at the bottom before, and it goes, and they start hucking wood onto it.
What do you think's going on?
Thank you. I don't know. As superstitious as I am, I obviously believe that fog is sentient. I tried to talk to it, but it didn't want to talk back. But
I mean, at the
oddly
very least,
enough,
it was sent by someone who's sentient.
yeah. Oddly enough, when I put my hands together to pray, right in front of the fog, it just disappeared.
I rushed past you.
It rushed past me, and then I got hit by a ton of things, and then it just went away. And now we can see the ocean, but unfortunately now the sky is pitch black. There's no stars. It's snowing, of all things. Went from rain to snow. The temperature has dropped dramatically, and there is no stars, no moon, no anything. And I am at my wit's end because I don't have any magic.
I mean, I do, but nothing that's gonna do anything about any of this. I don't know. I can't help but think that this all has something to do with us, but maybe that's just conceit. I don't know. Maybe we should leave the city.
My employees haven't even shown up. I don't even know if they're alive. Not even the guard that are supposed to be here were here when I got here. I've been giving out food and hot tea for hours, and blankets, and I don't know what else to do. I think leaving the city might not be the best idea right this minute. This couldn't have anything to do specifically for us. I mean, it's not as if we've influenced anyone to throw ships at our city.
I don't know. It just seems like a coincidence that we have been investigating these demon ships And maybe it's just a coincidence. I guess at this point we should just take care of ourselves and hunker down and see what happens. I mean, it's not like we can fight darkness,
No, we can't.
so we just have to wait and see what comes.
By the way, out of character DM, what time is it?
From your last recollection of what you saw of the time, it was probably around 4 in the afternoon.
And now it's pitch black past midnight type of. Okay. And it's snowing. Can we see what color the snow is?
As it comes down, yeah, it's white.
It is white. Oh, that's something. Is there any weird smells or anything else that we can see?
Waterlogged wood. Damp, dog-smelling people. The damp occasional actual dog that goes by whimpering. A few alley cats that you can smell that walk past. And the general smell of sewage that has now been pushed into the city.
Ooh, wonderful. Well, I invite them into the shop where it at least is dry so that we can sit down and talk. Come on, guys. Come on in.
Sasha's boots squeak against the wood, the dry wood beneath her, because she was drenched beforehand before it started snowing.
Do elven boots do that? Elven boots are magical. Oh, okay. All right. Do I have any type of furnace or fireplace inside of
The
my
building
shop?
wasn't included with one, no.
I mean, my family's home largely escaped the water damage. If we want to go someplace where we can get warm and dry, we can head there.
I'm almost afraid to leave my shop at this point because of all of the people squatting like crazy. And I have no way of contacting any of my employees. They've all scattered somewhere, so I have no one to watch it.
Well, how about this? I will go back to my family's house. I'll get some blankets and some food and have it packed up and brought back here and stay here with you.
I appreciate it. I really do. I just can't leave the shop because of the fact that the worms are in here.
I get it.
And there's no one to watch them. And
we'll throwing jelly at them right and left.
Well, they might eat somebody. Somebody might come in here bleeding.
Yeah, I'll go do that. I will head back to my house and get provisions to bring back here.
Meanwhile, in the world of the quiet lizard known as Desh.
And keeping an eye out, see if anything comes out of the dark.
Fantastic. Go ahead and make me a perception check. Do any of you have superior dark vision, by the way?
Just regular
Superior dark vision?
Yes, there is superior dark vision.
I don't think so. I just have dark vision as a failing.
Fantastic. All right. So Desh, we get this cinematic shot as Sinnoh walks off in the snowy mud over the ramshackle little town that's being set up in the plaza of where Sasha's shop is. We zoom in on Desh's eyes as we watch snow and the fire from the pit and the several shapes of people walking by the front of the store as we fade temporarily to black where the commercial break would be as we take our first break. We will be right back, folks. See you soon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Waves. All right. So, as you head off and you go back to your manor, Senna, you are immediately greeted with several people who are sort of camping out at the houses. Several individuals that you recognize as some of the upper class families, kind of standing around their balconies. All of the houses are very well lit. There are several people camped out either on the streets or just outside of the gated houses, who have started small fires here and there, just to keep themselves warm. And of course, as you approach your manor, you pass by the now half-buried cannon that came out of the sky and landed in the middle of the street. And you can see a good 30 or so individuals kind of very well wrapped up, staying close to the fires, downstairs in your house. With your family going about and passing out supplies here and there, as well as the staff. You don't see most of your siblings, though.
I'm sure they're fine. I will look for what's his name? Matthias.
Easily found. You can see that he is outside currently, not too far from the main gate itself. Excuse me. Currently passing out a few blankets.
Okay.
Madam Thunderhall.
Matthias, how is everybody here? How are you?
We're doing well. Rationing what we can and giving out what we can. Quite a few people have sought comfort, and they are taking up a large portion of the first floor, getting mud all over the dining room, but that will be a problem for another time.
Well, I kind of told people to come here, so you can blame me for that one.
I'd never do such a thing.
I am currently helping out my traveling companions. You met Sasha and Dash. Sasha is worried about her shop, leaving it alone with her worms, and I came to collect some provisions, if you don't mind. I know you run a tight ship here. I'm just going to go gather up a couple of backpacks of food and some spare blankets if there are any left and take them back to her. Thank you. All right, thank you. I'm glad you're safe. All right, I'll go find Bathilda and get some travelable food and maybe something warm if she can. There probably aren't thermoses, but I'm sure there's some way of transporting some hot tea or coffee. I'll take whatever she can give me. That's fine. I mean, I'm not going to take a ton, just enough for a meal for all of us. And does she have like chicken or something that I can take for Nash? Like a dead raw chicken? Or a live one, I guess? Anything? Okay, I'll take the live chicken for Nash. She's got to eat too. I will hold the chicken under my arm like a football. All right, I'll take all that stuff and head back to the shop. All right, I'll head in and share the food out. Dash, does Nash prefer his meat pre-killed? Do you want me to chop off this chicken's head, or think he can take care of it?
Nash can handle his own food.
All right, I will present Nash with the chicken. I mean, I don't want him to accidentally bite me, but I also don't want him to have to chase it. Like, is there an enclosure I can put it in? Put it in a box so he can reach in and grab it? Or I can hold it out with my fingers curled in, like when you feed a horse, so he doesn't accidentally snap off my fingers? That's all I have, Nash, sorry. Great.
Sorry about that. As that happens, I hate to say this, but looking up some information on my race, apparently I have superior vision in dark and dim conditions.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. All right. Who did you say walks up? I rush towards him and welcome him into the shop, check him to see for any wounds, to see if he's okay. Okay. I was really worried about you guys. I will go ahead and I have some fur covered long johns that I'll loan him with a blanket and I'll wrap some blankets around him and hand him a hot mug of tea. Crazy. Really crazy. I came here um, because of I don't know. He's not here. I thankfully because I was here, no one has taken over our shop. But it was abandoned when I got here, and I've been giving out sandwiches and hot tea, and unfortunately, I handed out all our blankets. Thankfully, my friend Sasha came with some more, and now we have sandwiches and blankets. I mean, Senna. I'm sorry. My brain. Senna came with here. Senna. This is Stavish. Stavish. This is
Hello.
Senna. So this this is Dash, and the big guy chewing on the chicken over there is Nash.
Oh.
It's his companion and his trusty friend. That's Nash. That's what that is. His name is Nash. He's a great guy. Aren't you, Nash? You're a great guy. Very sturdy and not to be trifled with. Great fighter. The shop thankfully did not get hit, but unfortunately, we did not think to build in a fireplace, and yeah, and there was no one here, so I was terrified about what would happen with the worms, especially if someone came in bleeding. But thankfully, everything is okay. How about your home? Is your home okay, or is it gone? Oh, well, thank heaven for that. Is your family okay? I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that you're not too banged up either. There was no way for me to contact any of the other people that work with us, so I don't know if anyone is all right. Um, oh boy. Um, that means that they are going to need somewhere to stay, at least temporarily. Yes, of course. Hopefully they will be. I'm going to go ahead and hand him the keys to my home. These are the keys to my house. Um, because I'll be in and out traveling so much, and there is so much need in the city right now. I want you to, place some of the employees in my home so that they will have some place to stay, um, and see what we can do about rotating shifts to make sure that the business is protected with the worms, making sure that they're protected. I really appreciate that. Um, I just ask that they just keep it clean and not go through my personal things. I'd appreciate that.
You know they're gonna go through your stuff.
Well, I can't not offer my home, considering the fact that so many other people. Well, they're my employees. Where are
How
they
about an
going to
hotel?
stay? Well, that's True, I could do that. Okay, well, maybe that. Yeah, most of the inns are going to be booked. Well, maybe this is we can just make it temporary for a while, and maybe we can build on some barracks to the shop. So we'll have a couple of beds in rooms where we can allow people to stay for some temporary housing. How about that? I pull out some of our bedrolls from my bag of holding and take him to one of the empty rooms and lay out a bedroll for him to be able to lay down and get some rest. Sure, no problem. Oh boy. So, does anybody have any better ideas about what I should do with the employees? Because the inns are going to be swamped, and
I don't know. I think that you can always see if there's room at my family's place, but they're pretty full up right now. Um, if you would like to, since we don't spend a whole lot of time here, if you'd like to relocate some of your personal belongings to a room, even my room in my house, for safekeeping and allow your employees to stay there, so your stuff
I
is
think
protected. And
I think that's a good idea. Uh, uh,
Matthias?
what's talking? Oh, the
Oh,
rock.
the stone in the pocket.
Oh, the rock. It's the rock.
Hello. Uh-huh. Well, that's a little judgy.
Sure.
What's his name? Is he tall? Okay, yeah, we know him. We're at the worm shop right now. Oh yeah, I guess we should come there. I guess we should come there. Or at least someone. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's
Yeah.
Sophia.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, so I lock the shop with my employee inside sleeping and leave him a note telling him where we're going. And I guess we head for the Citadel. Head straight for him.
Approach.
That's normal.
It's okay. Garen. Hey.
Gosh, who would do that?
I go hug Sophia. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, we weren't sure we would.
No worries. No worries. Yes. That Garen. What's
What do
wrong?
we? Tidal wave and ship crashed into the city and there's some snow. Yeah, fog. Crazy. Oh,
Oh.
one of those killed me a little bit. Twice. So, yeah.
Do you know what all of this was? Why this happened? Is that fog sentient? A couple thousand years. And
Places are very foggy. It is odd, but not unheard of.
okay. And for some reason today it just went poof and it went away. So it left and went to the mountains. Wow. Well, oh boy. Well,
I can probably find you a place at my house.
people going into it. Oh boy. Dash, is there a possibility he can use your house?
Needed, sure. I tend to stay outside.
Uh, um, I don't know what to say about Dreadwalkers, except we need to stay away from them. And I am hoping that they don't know who we are because they started walking this way. Oh boy, that doesn't sound good. Hmm. All right. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you guys are safe. Um, they can't recommand you, can they? Is there any extra special protection you need to get in order? So is that all the protection you think you need, or? Siphidius, do you have any experience with that? Do we have any necromancers in the city?
Do they have to be necromancer?
Oh boy, that doesn't sound good. Well, oh, well, not sure what to say about that. Let's just hope she's alive. Do we
Sure.
have any reports about how many of us died today? Good God. This has been a major disaster. Have we gotten any of the druids together to try to figure out how to take care of the darkness? What about the sky? Well, is there anything that we can do to help? All right. Well, thank you for getting us together with our friend. We really appreciate it. Garen, you might need to put your facade back on because we're about to go back outside. Um, and Dash, could you, Dave? Oh, okay. Well, Dave. Okay. So Dash, could you lead us to your home so that Dave can get in and they can get settled?
She'll lead him there. Something very small, simple, more like just a hut inside the city, if all honesty. Basically. Is there any stores in this region? Alright, well, Dash would just point them in the direction of likely where best to go to try and acquire something. I saw it come in, tried to help people. So we'll saw it firsthand. You're no burden. I'll try to be.
Does Sifo-Dyas have any clue about any of this? No, yeah, it's not. Um, Well, Senna, Senna had a theory that it might have something to do with us. Senna?
Asking the wrong questions. I don't know. I'm a little paranoid, but I mean, it certainly likely has something to do with this influx of undead. Um, that's too big of a coincidence. Yeah, but apparently now they're now behaving much differently. And either this was some sort of a signal or trigger for them, or something.
I have to think in some way that maybe that these ships that have been destroyed all over our city are the ships that were coming for us. I'm thinking that they were coming to come sack the city, and on their way here, they got hit by something a lot bigger than they were. Well, I don't think that we really would have, because that mist is something otherworldly, and we don't know about everything that's in the ocean. And we do know from what we've learned that there's an elder god in there and some superior monsters.
There's no god in the ocean. There's just kraken.
Pretty positive there's a kraken and a god and a lot of other things in there.
Heard of only a kraken. You keep saying god in the ocean just because you're scared of water.
I don't disagree that I'm scared of water. I'm terrified of the liquid death, but that's besides the point. Pretty positive. I remember talking to David at some point, and him saying that there was an elder god in there.
Don't recall him ever saying there was a god in the ocean. I heard him saying there was a kraken, and the kraken just happened to be named.
But yeah, you're right. It could just be my paranoia. Could just be. Um, do we have any people in the city that have an affinity for the ocean or for water or the creatures within water? Dockside. Right. Which means they all got hit by the initial wave. For joy. Well, maybe all of this will look better in the morning. I suggest we all head on home and get some rest. Even though it's still early, it's been a long day.
4 in the afternoon.
That's a little bit after 5, but it's still been a really long day.
Yeah, I mean, that's as good an idea as any. Maybe something will come to us overnight. I'm struggling to draw the line between the Kraken and the ships and the weather and the Dreadwalkers. I mean, how are those things all connected?
How could all those things be connected?
But how could they all happen at the same time and not be? I mean, the Kraken's always been there. The Dreadwalkers have been there, but now they're behaving differently.
Do you think it's because we killed the Dreadwalker?
Probably not.
I mean, how would they even know it's us?
A little bit. Is it, forgive my ignorance, is it super unusual for someone to kill a Dreadwalker? Like, okay.
Can
So-
magic be tracked back to a person?
Okay.
But I can't.
But
However,
there's also issue of no magic naturally here.
What is it?
are you a robot?
That was odd. Uh-huh. And? What do you mean? Okay, so are you telling me the ley lines just got fixed? Is that everywhere or just here? Alrighty. Well, that'll give you more access to good magic, right? To fix the city, right? Well, now that the ley lines are getting back into where they should be, can you send them like a magical letter or a message or a I oh so
Carrier
what
pigeon?
do they not like you? All right, I'm not a wizard. Could you give me their information and I can go perhaps track down one and ask them to come back and we can discuss this ley line issue? They're 7 miles outside the city to the northeast. Wonderful, which I wouldn't be able to get into because I don't have the magic to get through that. Well, Senna, you want to go take out a letter to the Druids?
Sure.
with me?
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and write up that letter so we can go on out there and ask for a representative to come back with us to discuss the fact that the ley lines are repairing themselves. If you could write that. That's a neat trick. Okay.
Before we go, this evil Dreadwalker thing, no, thing, yeah, like that. Does the anti-magic field protect it against being scryed for or tracked magically? Hmm. I mean, maybe some blood and some arrows. So maybe we shouldn't be here.
No,
Don't
but I
think
haven't
so.
been looking for them. Well, can we get an anti-scry thing put up against us so people can scry us? Okay, we'd appreciate that.
Fine.
We follow. Okay. Okay, I put mine on and I attune.
Okay, I'm gonna have to unattune my boots of striding and springing, but I am willing to do that. So,
Oh, you can't.
Dash can just do it, or maybe.
Is there a limit to how many
3.
things you can? Okay, so I'm attuned to my cloak, right? And my boots. Oh boy. Oh, that is a problem. Um,
Think you have to attune to boots of Valvenkind. I don't know why I think that, but I could have made that up in my head, but I think maybe you don't. I don't know. I probably made that up in my. But yeah, I have 2 other things attuned to me, so I will unattune my boots for now.
Yeah, I don't have to be. Okay. All right. So this will be my third thing. Yeah. Okay. So I add one ring. What is it called? Of anti scrying. Okay. Okay. And
Yeah, I think it's worth taking an hour to attune to these right now. I think it's important.
yeah, we will do that.
Cool.
What about Nash?
Yeah.
How do we keep anybody from scrying on him?
Can he attune? Have you tried attuning him to magic items?
I don't know.
Is he
Like,
that
I
I'm
don't
sure he
sentient?
got
know.
some blood at the scene.
He is sentient.
Oh,
I
he is
mean,
sentient. Great. Fantastic. So he could attune to an item should someone get across the concept of attuning to him.
yeah, but what item could we do? It's not like he can put on a ring.
A bracelet?
Yeah, I could get a bracelet
Maybe a
or
collar
necklace.
or a necklace.
I could enchant a
I mean,
necklace.
assuming
Yeah.
he would be willing to wear it.
Or collar.
Thin strip of leather or something that would go around his neck where it won't be like a real collar. Or...
Oh, we get a collar. And he heads off. This'll take me like 8 hours, by the way, to make. So I don't exactly have one lying around.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate it, especially because we don't want anything tracking us back here to the town or coming to the town to attack us because we killed its friend.
All right, yep. Give me a minute. Well, 8 hours.
Thank you.
You got the stone. I'll contact you.
All right, so we're gonna now take the letter and well, do we want to wait for Desh to come back first before we take the letter? What do you think, Cinna?
I think
It's
that
been
would
plenty of
just be
time. Desh
wasting
could have
time.
joined you while you guys were still at the Citadel.
Okay, so we give Desh his ring to attune to, and we explain the situation, tell him about getting a collar for Nash so no one can scry on Nash. And while Cyphidius is going to go make that collar for Nash, now we're taking the letter to the Druids.
All right.
So let's head out. You lead us, buddy.
Going. Okay.
Northeast.
Guess
Okay.
I head northeast.
Yep. They go ahead and describe to the best of their abilities where you need to head off to. And I'd like you to make me a survival check. All right. So you guys begin heading to the Druids. Okay. Just gonna check one thing here. One second. Where is... There it is. Yeah, okay. Fantastic. So, as you guys head outside of the city walls and are greeted by the eternal darkness of away from the city light, you begin heading along the heavily muddied and not really holding up that well road that now leads to the north. It wasn't a solid cobbled road beforehand, and the dirt road that was here has been horribly flooded over partially. And that has filled mostly with what's beginning to form patches of ice, as there's now roughly about an inch of snow on the ground at this point. And you eventually break off the beaten path and head more into the woods proper, and are greeted by the dark gray-like figures that are the trees, lightly covered in snow, that just gives it more of an eerie feel. As you've noticed, as time has been going on, it's gotten cooler and cooler, and you're probably in like the mid-20s by now.
Ooh. Oh boy. Glad we have these suits. But that doesn't help the rest of the population that doesn't.
So as you head over the next several hours through the forest, you notice it's eerily quiet in the forest. Almost as quiet as the times that you ventured out for your first few times outside of Windgrove, and it came to that one point in night where the dangerous things came out. It's almost that quiet, except for the odd sound of an owl here, the chirping of a cricket there, the sound of rustling leaves and snow from a small critter here or there. That's very sparse.
Wow.
Till eventually you come upon a number of trees that have small bits and bobs hanging from them. Things anywhere from small trinkets to small carvings, a couple of symbols of the various different deities who are nature aligned. And you believe you've entered Druid territory. Go ahead and give me perception checks. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Desh, you are the only one that notices that there is an odd shape in one of the trees. As you notice, some of the snow falls slightly distortedly in one of the large branches of a tree nearby. And a human-shaped figure, naturally cloaked, kind of just leans against a tree and seems to be watching your group, saying nothing, moving in no way. It's just how the snow falls, in particular in that area, that leads you to notice them.
I'll look to address them and get everyone else's attention, or just point out the disturbance in the tree, and we are here to speak with you.
Hi, we have a letter from Cephadias, if you please. We're here to meet the Druids.
It's not this figure that moves. It's the sound of a snapping branch to your left, a bit of falling snow, and the sound of feet lightly tapping against the ground about 5 feet behind you that you hear, that makes you all turn, and you can see an orc, half orc and a full orc, both standing side by side, staring at the three of you, in heavy furs at this point. Spears jutted out in your direction. So, what does the wizard want?
Well, we desperately need to have a meeting with you. It seems like the ley lines are healing themselves.
Right, that's a good thing, though.
Right. Is there a possibility? Could you please send a representative for the Druids back with us to speak with Cypher Diaz? We'd really appreciate it. And we hand him the letter.
Which one?
The one that was talking.
Okay, so you hand the full orc the letter. And he kind of looks over. I can't read. Here, take this. He hands it over to the half-orc. Half-orc looks over it. Okay. Yeah. I'll take it to them. Yeah. And you watch as the half-orc runs off.
We wait.
So, how you doing?
Well, we're alive. We just had a disaster hit the city.
Thankful to be alive.
Yeah.
How are
no.
you?
Yeah. How's it going here?
Snowy?
Yeah. Unseasonable, huh?
Not really. It's been winter for the last month and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, but no one expected this to hit from the monsoon-like rain.
That part's a little weird.
What about
Or
the
the ships.
darkness? Unnatural darkness?
That's a little weird, too.
Yeah.
I'll admit.
Ever seen anything like that before? Other than an eclipse? Assume there are eclipses here?
Mate, I'm like 12 years old. I don't know shit.
Oh,
Okay. It's hard to tell. You're
And
very
he is 7 foot tall, all muscle, and dressed in heavy furs. He does not look like a 12-year-old.
for 12, you are an awful big guy. Your mom must be really proud. I mean, you're strong.
Wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know?
Nah.
Oh.
Well, I'm not exactly good at this. Come out of the fucking tree. And he walks away.
Nice to meet you.
Oh,
Yeah.
bye. Nice speaking with you.
You watch as the figure that you initially spotted actually starts moving out of the tree. It's a human woman, wild hair. You see all sorts of leaves and small pieces of branch are kind of caught and tangled in her hair. And she's got like a thin layer of dirt that kind of covers her face a little bit, which has only been partially covered by the snow. And she's also dressed in furs, but she has almost a rope ghillie suit net that she's made roughly that made her blend in so well, especially since it's caked mostly in snow at this point. And she kind of just drops down and doesn't say anything and just stares at you guys.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Sasha.
Uh-huh.
What's your name?
He literally just said it.
Ava.
What she said.
Oh,
I mean, that's...
He had a
that's how
little bit
names
of an
work.
accent.
Yeah.
it's nice to meet you, Ava.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Druids aren't talkative folk, are they?
I mean, we're not. We're the patrol, but...
You're not a druid?
No. Of course I'm a druid. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't a druid.
Are you really great at it?
I can summon a fire elemental. That's
Can you
about
make
it.
a good berry?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah,
I like those.
yeah.
That's cool.
Talk to animals.
That's cool too.
Oh, that's nice.
Do you know a squirrel named Raku? He's not really a squirrel.
Met him once. Yeah, he's not. No, he was a fun one. We had him around the Enclave for a little while.
Oh, so you know he died.
Oh, he's dead.
Wasn't that just a dream?
I don't think that was a dream. I think he had a vision.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, he was nice to us.
This might take a while, by the way, because they're usually they talk a lot about things and stuff before they, act.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, we're fine here. You don't feel like you have to entertain us.
Nope. I'm entertaining committee right here, one and only. Got any jerky?
Yeah.
Sure.
I do.
Yeah. I pull out some jerky.
She takes some if you offer it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
How do you become a druid?
I don't know.
Oh, you mean you were born a druid?
Yeah. Can you become? Not many people join the Enclave outside of the Enclave, so
Why not?
because there aren't many of us left.
Well, then maybe you guys should recruit.
Is that possible?
I mean, are all druids born druids?
I don't know.
I wasn't born a bard. I learned it. I guess I was probably born with the magical
You were born
ability.
with magic. Exactly. You
But-
had innate magical abilities, so you got to start there, right?
How do
Yeah.
you know if you have them?
I don't know.
Is there a test?
I don't have one.
I mean, I think being a druid would be pretty cool, but I'm more interested, I think, in becoming maybe a cleric eventually, because I really, really love Saren Ray.
Right. Okay.
Who's your deity here?
I don't follow any of them, so I mean,
Oh, it's not
You
like
don't?
a grove of
no,
Sylvanas or
no.
whoever.
I mean, I hear Sylvanas' name like a lot, but that's only from like the older, that's the adults.
I thought maybe that was like a prerequisite or something. You have to follow a specific god.
No, we're not clerics or paladins. We're just druids, doing our thing and making trees grow.
So it's all about nature. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can you, like, talk to trees?
No. I know
That
someone
would
who
be
can.
super cool if you could talk to, like, the trees and the flowers.
I've heard they're pretty boring to talk to, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think they would have a lot to say. I mean, they see everything. Literally.
I've never tried nor have any real interest in talking to a tree, but
I mean, think about it. I mean, if you're a tree and there's like a camp near you and stuff happens, you see everything. They'd be like the ultimate spy. You know?
sure. I guess.
I mean, if you could talk to them and something happened, like right near them, they could tell you everything that happened.
Or you could talk to like an owl.
Well, what if the owl wasn't there?
I mean, like presumably one that was there.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool too.
Owls live a really long time.
Sometimes.
I'm sure nowhere as long as a tree.
No, of course not. But
And a tree has history. They can tell you all the stuff that has happened
are
over
you
the
sure
years.
you don't want to, if it is possible to become a druid, become a druid? Because you sound more druidy than religious-y at this moment.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like awfully cool. I just think it's like super, super cool.
Gotcha.
Like your whole nature thing. I just think it's really cool.
Uh-huh.
I admire you guys.
Mm.
Don't you think you should be admired?
Not really. I mean,
Why not?
I
Don't you think
haven't
you're special?
exactly done anything admirable. I'm just out here living life, enjoying nature.
Well, there
Staying
are a
away
lot of
from,
people that
you know.
that can't do the things that you can do. You don't think that's admirable?
I mean, I can't captain a ship and fight a naval battle, so
Yeah, but see, the thing about that is that's something that's like just a normal skill that anybody could learn.
anyone can learn to tend a garden.
Yeah, but not everybody could talk to it
I couldn't talk to my garden.
or make it grow by
Okay,
a
that I can
thought.
do. I could do that. It's not by thought, but yeah, I could make things grow.
I mean, other people really have to work really hard to make something grow. You can just go like magic, magic, magic and make it grow.
It's more like, oh, never mind.
Cool, cool stuff coming out of your mind and your hands and make it grow. I mean, that's like super cool.
Okay.
You don't think it's cool?
It's normal.
I think you're not giving yourself enough credit.
Okay.
I'll go into the woods and see if any druids are coming back to return to save us from this.
Well, you watch as she just kind of slowly turns and starts crawling back up her tree, and eventually you watch as the burly orc comes around. Come on. That's you can come in.
Yeah.
And he leads you through, and as you go through like these particularly very large bushes, you go from a very snowy environment to suddenly a nice warm environment as you step into a dry, beautiful grove. And it's warm. Nice and toasty.
Yeah, the best thing ever because it's nice and toasty and it's dry.
Mm. And unfortunately, it is 11:56 at night. So that, unfortunately, is where we're going to call it as you step into the enclave of the Druids.
Quite the stimulating session.
Yeah. But I've been Forgotten Dreams. Thank you all so much for coming out. And I'm joined by a lovely cast of people, starting with Ellen, and then Wade, and then Sarmama. And yeah, we will see you guys in 2 weeks' time. Be sure that if you haven't already seen most of the episodes, that most of the episodes are on archive back over on YouTube. And also, the one channel announcement that we currently have is that there is a zombie show that's going to be starting up in about 2 weeks. So stay tuned for information about that.